Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my glove on as usual. We're on a walk and talk. It's warming up a little bit again, and I've decided to take another route. It was too noisy the way I get on that Bountiful Boulevard and just by the temple, and too many people. People are going too fast, and there's too much noise. There's just too much construction noise. So I thought I would offer you the peace and quiet of a quiet neighborhood. So anyways, I thought I'd give my reaction to Tucker's interview with Putin, and then a couple of reaction videos. Actually, I think it was recorded before that, but maybe after. I saw it on Tucker afterwards, but I think it was recorded earlier. He had RFK Jr. on talking about it, and boy, talk about somebody who's got the facts. RFK Jr. I love him in that sense. And then Russell Brand's reaction video, and then compare that to some different people on the mainstream media freaking out on the left. Oh, how could Tucker do this? How could he dare have dialogue? Anyway, so my honest opinion about the interview, I applaud Tucker. I thought it was, when you say interview, as it goes with almost all Tucker's interviews, he has a unique style of interviewing. Let the people talk. So you get to learn a lot about the people when Tucker interviews them, because he'll just interject with a question every once in a while. And it's mostly the person. Happens to be my personal style. But he'll interject with a question here and there. And so in that sense, well, I mean, I usually like that, but Putin's a little long-winded. And I walked away with a couple of, he gave a great history lesson going back, centuries into the, 800s, 900s or something like that, talking about that. And first thing that struck me is, a lot of people said, compare that to our president who doesn't even know how to get off the stage or what day it is, or, it's just no comparison. So anyways, I was impressed by Putin's command of the facts, although as Tucker said, you can say that he's a smart man, but he's not the most equipped person to explain himself. And he kind of explains that he lives in a society where it's probably not very often that he does have to explain himself or what's the word? Convince people, persuade people. So he's not that skillful in that. But regardless, I don't agree with him invading Ukraine as well, and nor does, I don't know of anybody that does. But okay, bottom line, he's got his reasons, and don't we want to hear his reasons? And does anyone think that fighting to the last man on either side is the best thing to do, and the U.S. pumping in money to the Ukraine to continue the killing? Does anybody think that's a good idea? I mean, I'm embarrassed to say that I voted for Mitt Romney here in Utah, but we got to weaken the enemy over there. We're gonna fight the proxy war over there, and weaken our enemy. What? And continue the killing? So in my view, dialogue is the only answer, and I applaud Tucker for doing it. However, and I don't know if it was recorded after, I heard it afterwards, but I thought RFK Jr. gave a much more succinct history of Putin's position and how the U.S. has essentially betrayed him in so many we're not going to move NATO 1 inch further. Well, we went 1,000 miles west, and we broke that promise. We broke this promise. So, bottom line, justified or not, he feels threatened. And so, does anybody think that less dialogue is a better answer? So in my opinion, there's no way that Biden is going to solve this. It's past his pay grade. He doesn't even know what day it is. So I applaud that Tucker Carlson is getting the dialogue started. And I love what Russell Brand, as of late, I've started to listen to Russell Brand. Oh my heaven, and I knew he was a comic and this and that, but I didn't think that much of him. But oh my heavens, he has a command of the English language and of the facts and of, he's got a newfound faith in God. He's got some spirituality. He's on top of things. I agree wholeheartedly with what he said, and I think RFK Jr. on Tucker, being interviewed by Tucker, not only on Putin and Ukraine, but on so many things, JFK assassination, and why we still have, thousands of documents not released and redacted, and so there's so much you can gain from that interview. But oh my heavens. If you want to talk to somebody who's got command of the facts, I tell you, RFK Jr., he's starting an independent party, some kind of a party. He's been a Democrat all his life, but, the Democrats, it went way off the rocker and left, since his family was in the Democratic Party. But there are very few Democrats around that are like the old Kennedy Democrats. And so, anyway, I don't agree with him on everything, particularly climate change stuff. But, I don't care. He's got his head on correctly, and he thinks correctly. He's articulate, and I think he's a moral man. And, my first choice is, of course, Trump. Like I've said in another video, Trump's got his own problem. He's not a perfect man. He's not a choir boy, but I think he's the most equipped to solve these problems we have in the world. And he's kind of like the inverse of Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was a great man, but a terrible president. Trump was a great president, not the most, what does he call it? Not a choir boy. I find him hilarious, but anyways. So, I highly suggest you go and listen to RFK Jr.'s interview with Tucker, and like I said, Tucker's interview style. It's real complicated. Let the person talk. And so I love that long form. I don't even think I finished. I think it's a couple of hours, and I'm only about an hour into it, and I'm just loving it. So, but that's my thought on Putin. This is not going to be solved by pouring money into Ukraine. It's a corrupt country, and I've been to Ukraine. And when I went there, not that I was just there on a layover for a day or two, but walked around that country, and there's still big old, back then, this is maybe a decade ago, giant statues to, was it Stalin and, not Khrushchev, Stalin, and who's the other one? The other great communist leader. Not great in my mind, but anyway, so it had a unique atmosphere to it then. Oh, but I will tell you, at the hotel we stayed in as a flight crew. Oh my heavens, I think that is the nicest hotel I have ever stayed in Ukraine. And I think it was the Royal something, I think, downtown. And it was quite a hotel. Probably the nicest hotel I've ever stayed in. And I think the nicest breakfast I've ever had. Anyways, on that flight home, there was a Fox News correspondent, Dick Shawn, not Dick Shawn, something Shawn. He's a Democrat, but I'm sure he's probably not on Fox News anymore, but, and I had a nice long conversation with his son. I said, oh, you're here over here with your son, what's your son doing? And I can't remember what he said, some conference or something. But I think even back then there was a lot going on in Ukraine. And so he was a Fox News contributor, but a Democrat, but a sensible guy. This Shawn, S-C-H-O-E-N, I think was his last name. But anyways, those are my thoughts on Ukraine. Yeah, we've got to end this conflict, and Biden is completely incapable of doing that. And then there's the warmongers on the Republican side and the Democratic side. Oh, war, we got to Mitt Romney. When did Mitt Romney turn into this? It's just, what in the world is... war, we got to beat our enemy over there. Let's fight the last man. Let's better us fight him over there than over here. What? Anyway, so I not that I'm ready to, I'm not a Putin fan, but he's not a suicidal maniac. He's a smart guy. He may be evil, but I think you can talk to him, and I think him and Trump, when Trump was in office, they had a certain mutual respect, and this would have never happened. The Ukraine thing would have never happened if Trump was in there, in my opinion. Also, what's going on in the Middle East, and then China threatening Taiwan. I tell you, the world is unraveling, and left-leaning people, I had a friend tell me, well, they're fine people too. Yeah, they're fine people, but I think they're misguided. And they've got to realize that policies have consequences. We can't just set policies that make us feel good or think we're I guess it's like raising a ruly child. You've got to put your foot down. You can't just appease all these people and try to have everybody love you. Oh yeah, all the lawlessness in this country, the border, it's a criminal what's happening down there. And it's all because Biden wanted to do everything, anything that Trump touched, he wanted to undo. And does that sound like a sensible policy to you? I'm telling you, it's criminal what's happening on that border. It's criminal what's happening in our cities, the lawlessness, the homelessness, the druggies everywhere. Who was it? Elon Musk said his San Francisco, around his building for X, Twitter, it's like a zombie zone. It's like a zombie zone. It's just unbefrickin' believable. Unbefrickin' believable. So those are my thoughts on the Putin interview. More dialogue is better, no matter what happens, and it's better than less. Pouring money into Ukraine and just let's fight to the last man. Yeah, that's a good strategy. Not. Anyway, so those are my thoughts, And I'd love to hear your comments if you care to share them. I'm gonna show you these. Not say this. Oh my heavens! I'm gonna put it. Yeah, stop this video at what 15 minutes now, and so I think that's long enough. I gotta start heading home soon. But thank you for listening. Bye bye.